Consider the displacement time graph below and answer the questions below that. These questions over here. Now, before I answer those questions, we're going to discuss the motion of the particle. So let's say it's travelling along this line here, and this is the start point. Then along this section here of the graph, the object under consideration is travelling away from O until it gets to a point which is 10 meters away from O. It then stops there for a short period of time, 2 seconds, and then it starts to head back towards O. When it gets to here, it's going through O. We can see the velocity changes a bit, but it's now negative, which means it's going this way, and it goes until it gets to a point that is 8 meters from O, and since it's to the left, we'll call it -8. It stops for a bit there and then travels back to O. So that's the overall journey. Now, part A of the question asks us to find the velocity along each section of the journey. So I'm going to label these A, B, C, D, E, and F. So if we look at A, the change in displacement here is 10 meters, and it took 5 seconds. So that's going to be 2 meters per second. B clearly is where it's stationary, so that's 0 meters per second. For C, we can see the change in displacement is -10 because it's coming from 10 back to 0. So that's -10, and that's divided by 3. So that's going to be -3.3 recurring meters per second. Now let's think about D. Change in displacement is -8, and that took 4 seconds. So that's -2 meters per second. Along E, clearly it's stationary again. And if we look at section F, that's 8 meters because it's going from -8 to 0. And the length of time there is 5 seconds. So that's 1.6 meters per second. Now for part B, we want the average velocity for the whole journey. Well, it starts here and finishes here. Both of those are at the original position. So the average velocity is 0 meters per second. But what about speed? Well, the distance covered was 10, and then it went 10 back, so that's 20 so far. So it's traveled 20 meters when it gets here. And then it's going to go 8 and 8. So that's another 16, meaning that it's traveled 36 meters. So we have 36, and the time taken is 20. And that gives me 1.8 meters per second.